In a Facebook post on 26 June 2025, Ho Ching declared that modern Singapore began in 1819 with Raffles, not the 1300s arrival of Sunonny Leu. Warning against anti-colonial fervour, she dismissed early records of Temasek as vague, arguing they showed no large, self-sufficient kingdom. Her remarks drew swift backlash. Academic Sunonny Leu questioned why she felt compelled to defend colonial narratives when no serious movement aims to erase them. Ho described pre-colonial Singapore as a transient refuge for defeated nobles, a stop for losing minor royalties, until European powers cemented its role through guns or contracts. Ho Ching credited Raffles with forging modern Singapore in 1819, declaring it was he who gave life to the island as a free port to challenge Dutch Batavia. So the history of modern Singapore really began in 1819, not the 1300s, she insisted. Ho warned against revising this narrative out of anti-colonial fervour, arguing Singapore has never tried to tear down statues or deny its colonial past. Let's not, in a fervour of anti-colonialism or anti-British sentiment, try to rewrite the founding of modern Singapore, she wrote pointedly. Sunonny Leu, a senior lecturer at HKUST, countered Ho Ching's view, calling it a tautology to say Singapore's modern history began with Raffles since modernity itself is a Western idea. He criticized her portrayal as selective and ahistorical, ignoring extensive research showing Singapore's vibrant pre-colonial trade networks. Leu questioned why Ho issued her warning against anti-colonial fervour when no such movement exists. Serious historians, not radicals, are challenging the idea that Singapore's economic life began only in 1819, he said, adding that her one-sided narrative risks sparking cultural divisions that never existed. Churian George, professor of media studies at Hong Kong Baptist University, echoed Leu's sentiments. Commenting on Leu's post, he questioned the impulse to erase Singapore's long pre-colonial history. Why would one want to trash our 700-year saga? He asked. Personally, I find this story deeply meaningful. It tells me how intercultural connection is part of who we are as Southeast Asians. We did not need imperialists from Europe to teach us that. George noted that colonial rule actually hardened borders and imposed racial categories, rather than encouraging multiculturalism. He expressed concern over attempts to downplay this rich legacy. What is the Singapore they prefer to manufacture and sell? I worry. Graphic novelist Sunonny Leu questioned why Ho Ching framed the 700 years narrative as a threat when it was once state-endorsed. He noted this framework, emphasizing Singapore's deep regional ties, was championed by establishment historians like Tan Tai Yong. Leu speculated it arose partly from shifting geopolitical interests or backlash to the 2013 Population White Paper. Both felt like instrumental readings of history, like the left hand fighting the right, he observed pointedly. Some netizens argued that Singapore's history cannot be confined to a colonial timeline. Many asserted that the island was part of the wider Malay world, known as Tanah Melayu, and was under the Johor Rau Sultanate before Raffles arrived. They cited evidence of Temasek's presence in Yuan dynasty records and Majapahit texts, as well as Portuguese maps. Some noted that although Southeast Asian civilizations did not leave behind massive stone monuments, they thrived through trade, migration, and diplomacy. One netizen pointedly remarked that Raffles did not found Singapore on an empty island. It was already governed by Malay rulers and home to a local population. Others felt Ho was overly preoccupied with rejecting anti-colonial narratives, leading her to undervalue indigenous and regional history. Some urged her to engage more deeply with the pre-colonial Malay context and revisit historical exhibitions such as those showcased during SG50. As one comment summed up, colonizers remain colonizers, regardless of what they contributed to economic development.